flexibility there.
For the record, Booger McFarland's swing was once described by the great Gary Player as looking like a cow giving birth to a roll of barbed wire. So, and that was live on the air.
Well, what is that then, Greeny?
What's that?
How would you describe that?
It was about the same. Anyway, let's get back to the football here. 5 days and counting until the Green Bay Packers start their training camp, and all eyes around the football world and beyond are on Aaron Rodgers, who does have an ownership stake in the now world champion Milwaukee Bucks, and he tweeted this yesterday. Incredible job by Wes and Mark, Peter, John Horst. Our GM made some incredible moves, and our stars played like stars. Can't stop 34. Well, Aaron is in that place now where everyone wonders if he's throwing shade with everything he says. Ryan Clark on NFL Live did.
The sun is shining. I needed some shade, and I thank Aaron Rodgers for providing it. You know what Aaron Rodgers is doing? Aaron Rodgers is sitting at the table with his significant other being like, man, Giannis sure looks happy with those trophies, huh? Did you see that Drew Holiday they got for Giannis? How about that Brooke Lopez they gave him? Absolutely, he throwing shade. And to call people out by name, you know what name he didn't say? Brian, as in GM Brian Gutekunst. I see you, Milwaukee. I see you doing the right things for your star. You should look at what they do for their star, Brian, because clearly you ain't doing the right things, Brian, to keep me there. And that's why I don't want your little funky contract, because it's about my feelings. And since my feelings are involved, Brian, I don't have no logic. I don't have no rationale. I'm rich. My fiance rich, and I'm finna be out of here, Brian, and go get your 50-piece nuggets.
Go ahead. Follow. That's your LSU guy there, Booger. Follow that.
First of all, I think the dramatization and the acting there and his delivery was awesome. I agree with him, though. Think about this, Greeny. It's never been about the money. We talked about this for the last several months. Aaron Rodgers is someone who has plenty of money. He's made $240 million in salary from the Packers. This is about a feeling of being treated the right way. And there are only a select few people in the sports world that can commandeer this type of respect, this type of attention. Your Aaron Rodgers, your Brady's, your LeBrons, people of that ilk. And Aaron Rodgers realizes that he's been treated the wrong way. So I agree. I don't think he's showing up. I've said it for months. And I think that Green Bay is going to have to figure out, are they willing to live with this story every single day? Because Aaron Rodgers, even if he had to write a check back, I don't think he cares. I don't think he shows up.
All right, so Kimberly, Aaron is in that place now because this is such an extraordinarily public thing that everything he does we are going to parse. So something as simple as tweeting congratulations to a team of which he is a minority owner, we are looking at and we're wondering, is he throwing shade? Do you believe he was, Kimberly, with that tweet?
Even if he wasn't, the fact that we know Aaron Rodgers, we know that he is calculating and deliberate in everything he says, everything he does. And I don't mean that as a slight. I actually applaud him and I love it for that, because he doesn't tweet anything without thinking about it. And the fact, as Ryan Clark mentioned in that piece, the fact that he mentions people by name, he highlighted all the reasons he's not happy. He watched an organization in his state do it the right way, get pieces for his star, make his star happy. A guy that this is homegrown in Milwaukee. He watched that team that he's got a part ownership in, and Aaron has not been happy for a long time. He's a guy who wants a divorce and his wife won't sign the papers. That's where we're at. So regardless, he might smirk and say, oh, they're making too big a deal about this. But because Aaron Rodgers is the way he is and super petty just like me, we're going to continue to read into everything he says.
Yes, that's why you and I get along so well. Now, and Sacho, what Booger made me think, and I bring this up to you because of your history at the Players Association, a guy like LeBron, one of the reasons that he's been so successful in making sure he gets what he wants everywhere is he always signs these short contracts. He signs in the NBA. Those guys can do that. They sign these short contracts because of the max salary cap and everything else, the max salary, that he's able to basically say, you do everything I want or I'm out of here in 2 years. In the NFL, in order to get the big contract, you have to elongate it. And that's how Aaron Rodgers finds himself in the place that Kimberly is describing, where he wants out and there's not that much he can do about it. Sam, what do you think of that?
Yeah, well, there's some truth to that as far as shorter contracts in the NBA, but it also takes place in the NFL. I look at Darrelle Revis towards the end of his career. He consistently signed these 1, maybe 2-year contracts, very short contracts, though he could have gotten paid bigger. I look at Ndamukong Suh, who I played with in Tampa Bay just a year ago. He consistently signs these short contracts. So let's just debunk the theory that Aaron Rodgers wants a longer contract. We all know that he doesn't. If anything, he wants a 1-year contract, give me some more money, and give me a player option where I can leave after this year if I even show up this year. But just going back to that tweet. So going back to the tweet, because initially I said, okay, it's a tweet. Come on, guys, we're reading too much into it. But if you just look at like the structure of a sentence, right, there's clauses in there. And he adds, John Horst, our GM, made some incredible moves. He didn't have to say that. I'm just serious, right? He could have said, incredible job by Wes and Mark and Peter, right? He didn't have to say that our GM made some incredible moves, but he did. Words mattered. Obviously, stars played like stars. We all know that in the NFL, NBA, no matter where you are, stars have to play like stars, but GMs have to manage like great GMs. And that's what we're not seeing in Green Bay. And that's what I think Aaron Rodgers is specifically pointing to in that extra little clause that he added in that tweet.
What do you think, Booger? Are we, at this point, now that we're reading into the clauses of a 280-character limit social media in which absolutely everything on a daily basis is misinterpreted and misunderstood, are you buying that Aaron Rodgers was trying to throw shade with his congratulations to the world champion Bucks?
Yeah, Greeny, of course. And listen, Aaron Rodgers is nothing if he is not one of the smartest superstars who, as Kimberly said, is very petty. Okay, he realizes this, that as long as this story is percolating, as long as this story in the news, Brian Gutekunst and the people in Green Bay are going to continue to have to answer questions. Hey, did you see Aaron's tweet? What do you think about that? And as long as that story is there, it goes in Aaron Rodgers' favor, because Green Bay would love for this to go away and people say out of sight, out of mind, we're going to go with Jordan Love, but Aaron's not going to let that happen. I guarantee you, Aaron is probably going to show up on day 1 of training camp to the country club and tee off and say, hey guys, somebody capture my swing. I want to take a look at it. And we're going to be analyzing his swing as the Packers are reporting to training camp in Appleton, Wisconsin. That's the type of petty that I love, that we all love, but that's also the type of petty that Aaron Rodgers wants to do, just to show everyone I'm still here.
But he's going to be at Green Bay Country Club? Remember, he renewed his membership. Is he going to be in Green Bay, or will he be out there in L.A., you know, at Riviera or someplace?
Well, maybe he's at L.A. North or L.A. South, Greeny. I mean, there's so many great country clubs in L.A. And then he gets on the jet, he goes to Big Sky, Montana, and he finishes up in Green Bay. That sounds like a hell of a day for me.
Go ahead, Sacho.
People say, Booger, your point of this story being in the news, people often say you either die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain. At least it was from Batman, right? Aaron Rodgers right now is the hero. But as this story continues to go on, people in Green Bay, fans in Green Bay are saying, hey, we need you. So if you don't want to be here, you can leave. And so there is this opportunity for the story and the storyline to change.
I think that's a good point. Let's leave it there for the moment. We'll come back to it. Meanwhile, another legendary quarterback in the news. Coming up, it's taken 2 decades for us to see this version of Tom Brady.